Kings, queens, and in-betweens, welcome back to the City Boys podcast. This episode, we are going to be going over St. Louis City's 4-1 thrashing against the Seattle Sounders out west. We will give our just 2 points this week. Of course, put the kids together in Kit Clash and then preview the San Diego FC, the MLS's newest expansion team. But before we get into that, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ethan Thornton, and I am joined by one of my best friends in the whole wide world, the bandana banana man, Grayson Knight. How you doing, boss?
I'm doing good. I don't know where the banana came from. That's a little wild, but I don't know. I'm doing good. Just enjoying a nice Monday day off of work. So yeah, just ready to talk about some ball. Sadly, it wasn't the greatest outing we've seen from St. Louis City, and oof, if it keeps going like this, I mean, we could see scorelines like this a lot this season. I'm worried. I'm worried to say the least.
Brother, we better not keep seeing score lines like this season. We'll put it like that. The fans are unhappy enough in
Yeah.
St. Louis right now.
Yeah, you could say that. The Facebook is getting toxic, but
Ooh, as if it was already a positive place to be.
yeah. Yeah. And honestly, can't even stop them anymore.
I know it has become hard to defend St. Louis City at all. After the past 5 games, we have taken maybe 2 points from this run of form, and we have not looked great. Generally, I think in the past, we've been able to hang our hats on the fact that we've at least been entertaining to watch. And I don't know about you, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I have not been really enjoying watching St. Louis City all that much recently.
I will say it's a trend that always happens with St. Louis City. I love watching them for the first 10 minutes or so because we come out hot. We often score in the first 10 minutes, and then the rest of the 90 just kind of goes to shit after that. But we do start off pretty good.
Yeah, something about nonstop football. There's a joke to be made there. I'm not gonna clown too much just because it hurts. It hurts me.
It does.
Quickly, Grayson, before we move into the game and everything that happened, if you're a regular here, you will notice that one of our regular city boys is missing. Jacob is busy this evening. He is getting in that quality family time. If you've ever listened to a St. Louis City Boys episode all the way through, you will know that there is nothing more important to us than being able to tell your mother that you love her. So he is getting in that quality family time. He will be back next weekend, ready to go over the Union Omaha US Open Cup game, as well as the San Diego FC match. So leave a comment for Jacob. Let him know how much you miss him, and he will return in good spirits.
I'm sure he's going to be very excited to talk about the two wins we get from this week in St. Louis City football. But let's rip off the band-aid and get into this match versus Seattle. I'm gonna kick it off with our lineup, and yeah, we're kind of back to a team that we've grown familiar with. We do get uh, a couple new guys back into the starting lineup that I was, somewhat happy to see. So we got Ben Lunt in goal, of course. I gotta say, the result on the field that we're putting out might not be the best, but St. Louis has some great goalkeepers. Always very proud of them. Ben Lunt in goal. We've got the back five again. We got Giannis Horn on the left, Timo Baumgartel in the middle, Josh Yarrow on the right. Our wingbacks this week, we had Kyle Hebert on the right and Conrad Vollum on the left. In our midfield, we had Thomas Ostrick, Akil Watts, Marcel Hartel, and then we had Cedric Tushirt and Hartel kind of sitting right behind Klaus up top. We did have a bunch of subs this week, including some
Oh,
debuts, just the one debut. So we had Mikael Joyner coming in the 62nd. We had Joachim Nilsson coming on. The return of Edu Leuven. Come
Let's
on.
go.
Very happy to see that. Simon Betcher came on in the 69th as well. And then finally in the 76th minute, we got the debut for Zande Silva. Honestly, that's one of the only good things about this game. But we'll get into it. Ethan, how are you feeling about this lineup? Does it make you feel any type of way?
I think that I felt better about this lineup going into this game than I had previous games. I think that seeing Giannis Horn get another start was refreshing. It was also nice to see Edu Lovin on the bench. Of course, he's not going to be match fit after such a break and time away from the club. It is just so great to see one of our leaders back on the field and running things. I was also really glad to see Makai Joyner get another long run out. It seems like he might have the belief of Olaf Melberg behind him, if I had to guess. And because I know a lot of fans were really upset that we did not see Celio Pompeu in this match, period, whatsoever. No start, no substitution. However, I'm not too upset about it. Generally, I think I would be more willing to advocate for Celio Pompeu. However, I have been impressed by Makai Joyner. I think that he's doing enough to continue getting substitute minutes, and I hope that he continues looking positive with the next games that we have coming up.
That's true. I think, we could possibly get him a very, very big role in this week's matchup against Union Omaha. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. We'll get him a goal.
Grayson, I do quickly want to ask you what you made of Jande Silva and his first appearance for St. Louis City because we have a
Yeah.
very, very small sample size, only like 11 minutes plus extra time. However, he was out there, he was on the field, he was wearing number 45. What did you make, Grayson?
You know, I I liked him from what I saw. Like obviously we weren't playing too well. We weren't getting him on the ball much. But when he was on the ball, he looked composed. He looked dynamic. Like he can stop and go pretty quickly. I did see there was a couple moments where in transition he was trying to start the attack, and definitely in the deep midfield, it looks like he can hold the ball very well, recycle it around under pressure. He'll be fine. But yeah, yet to see any real danger in the final third.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get to see that soon. So I'm not too worried. I am excited for him. Excited to see a different type of player in this game. And I think he can be great for City. So I'm excited.
I hope so. I do hope that we get that kind of clinical finisher ready for big games like we saw him perform with Atlanta United. I gotta say, like you, I saw the same things. I just want to see more. I think that similar to Makai Joyner, we'll see him work his way into getting more minutes, probably as a substitute at first. Maybe eventually we'll see Xande Silva in the starting 11. I don't know if that's going to happen before or after the All Star break, though. If I had to guess, I think
Mm.
it'll be after the All Star break.
I kind of feel like we could get it very soon. I maybe even against San Diego, probably not against Union Omaha,
Mm,
but in my mind, Olaf experimented a little bit. I think it was last week where he had two wingers behind Klaus instead of two kind of center attacking mids. So having Celio and Zande play at the same time with Klaus could be very scary for the opposition. I'd really like that as long as we have a strong midfield too to get them the ball, but we'll have to see.
yeah, I
It's not
mean,
really been a trend for us.
having Marcel Hartel and Edu Lovin in the midfield, feeding the likes of Celio Pompeu, João Klaus, and Jande Silva in our attack sounds. I mean, I'm salivating just thinking about it, especially after the, shall we say, lackluster performance against Seattle from the attack.
Let's go ahead and get into what exactly went wrong in this match. A lot went wrong. Let me just start with that.
Yeah, and you know what's so funny, Grayson, is that St. Louis City has the first highlight in this match. I will take us through the first half because we would actually be awarded a penalty kick. And in my opinion, a well-deserved one. I guarantee from the perspective of a Seattle Sounders fan, this is a soft-looking penalty kick. But to be fair, Yamar Gomez would bring down Cedric Toyshirt from behind. It definitely had some action from Cedric Toyshirt's back. Putting an attacker like that in the box, 9 times out of 10, the attacker is going to go down. Maybe even 10 times out of 10. That's the state of the game,
Yeah.
Grayson. Marcel Hartel would get Stephen Fry off his line and convert his penalty kick. Solid penalty from Hartel. Still could do without the skip, in my opinion.
I like it. I think he did exactly what he needed to. He sent the keeper the wrong way because, that was a little bit too close of a penalty in my eyes, at least. If I put that close to the keeper, I'd be freaking out. But great finish either way. Just ice cold.
And love it. I mean, you gotta love seeing the ball hit the back of the net when you're a team that is begging for goals, pretty much. Seattle would have a response, and very quickly, just barely 3 minutes later, Seattle would get a penalty kick of their own. Timo Baumgartel brings down Paul Rothrock in the box, and Albert Rusnak cleanly would tuck it away. Grayson, let's talk about this penalty for just a second because, in my opinion, after watching on first glance, not a penalty kick, very, very soft. On the replay, for me, a penalty kick. Like I said, for the Seattle fan perspective of St. Louis's penalty, soft. I see it the same way. Deserved though. And after the first penalty kick, I think the referee has to call that. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is after giving the PK for St. Louis City, he's immediately going to give that to Seattle as well. And honestly, I can't even blame Timo. Uh, it was him getting tangled up, slight push in the back. It's extremely soft, but I mean, at this level, you got to know it just sucks because as a defender, you want to be physical. You want to have a physical game. You want to have a presence. You want to put your hands on them. But immediately, if you do that in the box, they're going down now. It's just going to happen. It's going down.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, it is a state of the game. I think that coaches will tell you analytics are preferable to a penalty kick as opposed to a run of play in the opponent's box. It is frustrating from the defender's perspective. What else can Baumgartel do? He doesn't get much of him, and he is late. However, Grayson, I do want to point out this is not the first time we've seen three St. Louis City defenders standing around a player while they create something magical. We watched Denny Boanga do it last week against us with LAFC when he had Kyle Hebert, Josh Yaro, and guess who? Timo Baumgartel standing right in front of him and scored a delightful goal to secure them a draw. It's frustrating that we are watching our defense, it seems like, crumble since Henry Kessler has been injured. It seems like that was such a positive aspect of St. Louis City so far this season when there's not many positives for us to take away. And conceding 4 goals is absolutely not a positive. Not definitely not something the defense can hang their hat on.
Yeah, for a team with so many center backs, I feel like it's still hard for us to find our starting back line, and that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And
Well,
to
it's also, yeah, due to, injuries and everything. Like, we're required to play people in these positions, but it's just wild.
It hurts, dude. It feels like we thought we would be prepared for situations like this coming into this season, and it just turns out that we look like the defensive last year, if you ask me. To quickly finish my recap of the first half, 4 yellow cards would be shown in total in the first half, which I thought was really interesting because I think it did change the tenor of the game. I thought that it would let St. Louis City onto the front foot, but in my opinion, it just kept Seattle as the aggressor in this game. The 4 yellow cards would be shown to Paul Rothrock, Obed Vargas, Alex Roldan, and Cedric Toyshirt. And Seattle turned out to be the aggressor in the second half.
Yeah. Um, In the second half, City would get a nice little shot early on from, I think it was Toy Shirt, but it was way too easy for Stefan Fry to collect right down the middle of the goal. And then shortly after, Obed Vargas connects with the new signing Ryan Kent 1-2. He gets his shot off and it's deflected past Ben Lunt by Timo Baumgartel, who's going in for a block. It's super unlucky.
Very.
Good quality from Seattle in the buildup, but just pedestrian from St. Louis City again. Just we gotta get there. After this, it really does seem to be chance after chance for Seattle. I think they ended the game with 31 shots or something like that, and they would really start to rack it up in the second half. De La Vega would get smothered from close range after a possible handball off of the shot hitting Joachim Nilsson. It would go to review, but the ruling would stand that it wasn't a penalty. The call was that Joachim's arm was in a natural position. I know Ethan would kind of disagree. If he was the ref, he might have acted a little differently.
I think I would have called a penalty kick here, and I it hurts me to say that because we've seen St. Louis City on the wrong end of some bad refereeing decisions, in my opinion. So to see an opponent on the wrong end of a refereeing decision selfishly felt great, especially in the moment because Seattle had been dominating. However, in hindsight, I think the MLS got this one wrong. I believe the referee got this one wrong. Grayson, you said that his hand is down by his side, but the replay that I saw, the contact looked to be like Nielsen's arm was enough of a position to be affecting the play. And my stance on handballs in the box is that if it hits your hand and it affects the play, that is a handball and is either a penalty kick or a free kick going out. So, in my opinion, Grayson, I think this should have been a penalty kick. I think St. Louis City are actually kind of fortunate here. I know that the pro refs released a statement on the call as to why they didn't, and they backed it up. I can't believe they justified this, but hey,
Yeah, they justify every terrible call they make. So it is what it is. And I'm not going to complain too much because we did benefit from one finally. So
yeah, that was refreshing to see. I will admit.
it wouldn't matter either way because in the 80th minute, Danny Masovsky plays the target man, takes down a cross, smashes it home from point blank range. And then, of course, to pour salt on the wound, enemy number one, not enemy number one, that's probably Brian White. But I don't know why Nuhu gets under my skin, but Nuhu bangs it home. Ball, he puts it top
Dude,
90 from close range. Just it can't, he roofs it. Literally
that
roofs it.
it felt unnecessary. The quality of that finish. It reminded me of that Luis Suarez against PSG in the Champions League
Oh my
goal where
God.
he just nutmegs David Luiz and then sticks it in the top corner just because he can.
Just for pettiness. He literally puts it to top 90 just because he's petty.
Like
Like
just to really like rub salt in the wound, like you said, Grayson. And that's what I feel like we just watched Nuhu do. And I
it
did
was a
not
banger.
appreciate watching Nuhu do that to us. Yeah, for some reason that goal it just ticked me off a little bit more than the other three.
Yeah.
It rough.
Yeah, this was a hard game to watch. And then the day later, watching the St. Louis Blues lose in game seven, just pain. It's not a great time for St. Louis fans right now.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna bring up the Cardinals.
Hey, they're actually fine. They're actually
Look,
doing fine, which is weird.
it's not to the Cardinal standard. Okay, we know what the Cardinals should be, and this is not them. That's
Fair,
all I have to
fair.
say about that.
This is not a baseball podcast. Uh, but that would be the Seattle St. Louis match. And I think this one stings a little bit more because this is a team that we just earned 3 points from not too long ago at
But
home.
Grayson, going into this game, that's why we were feeling so strongly about this matchup. We were thinking, okay, this is a team that we have figured out on paper. We have beat them before in execution at home at City Park. Granted, I think we had a healthier squad at the time. Still, I don't think Roman
Yeah.
Berkey or Thomas Totland would have made that big of a difference today or against Seattle. The squad was not up for it. Seattle, far and away the better team on the night, and they truly played St. Louis off the field.
Yep. And yeah, just like you said, the first time we faced Seattle, they were a very different side. They were in a bad run of form, still trying to figure it out, had a bunch of injuries at the time as well. Now they're in great form. They just got a bunch of new signing. They got Ryan Kent.
I
Um,
will say they are still a
he's
little
very
bit
good.
hurt by injuries. They're missing Jordan Morris, Jesus
True.
Ferreira, and one other
But they
player.
got Danny Musovsky, who's now scored in, I think, four straight games.
Yeah, he is on an unbelievable tear. That would put him in not probably tied for like the top 10 goal scorers in the MLS right now though. He's on an unbelievable tear for Seattle. Seeing that deflection goal for him as well, it just you're kind of like, yeah, of course. Of course. That's the kind of
Yeah,
goal that a striker in his kind of form scores. We've seen Brian White get
just
similar goals
falls.
against us. Yeah, it felt like one of those, man.
All right. And now we're going to get into our 2 points from match day 11. Shout out Jacob. He was so horrified by this match that he didn't even want to talk about it. He just quit the podcast altogether.
No, you would never back down from talking about this game. As a
No, I
matter of
wouldn't.
fact, I'd actually love to hear his fire on the matter because Grayson, as our resident optimist, I'm going to kick us off with a kind of positive point from my perspective. Because, in my opinion, Grayson, since Roman Berkey has been injured, Ben Lunt has been fantastic. I think I've kind of beat this point into the ground a little bit now, but against Seattle, I think the result could have been much, much worse. And he made 4 saves. They had only 8 shots on target, but they had 31, 29 total shots. I think the score could have been a lot worse. Early on, he had a great save where the ball almost went between his legs and he managed to keep it out. I believe that right now, he and Henry Kessler are some of the only bright spots that St. Louis City have to talk about. There's not been too many positives this season. It's not like
Yeah.
we have someone firing in goals on a consistent basis. There's not a player that is consistently in the team of the match day. There's not a player that's lighting up the skill highlights. We don't have that right now. So we need the players that are a little bit getting the fundamentals down. And in my opinion, that is Ben Lunt. Roman Berkey is expected to return this weekend against San Diego FC, but given St. Louis City's injury history, I don't think I would be upset if we did not rush his return and we waited one more week and let Ben Lunt start against San Diego FC. I know that might be kind of a hot take because people are probably clamoring for Roman Berkey in net, but I truly believe that Ben Lunt is not responsible for a single one of our losses. I don't believe that he has really made many errors. I'm sure that his long passing hasn't been up to the standard of Roman Berkey. I don't have stats to bring that up to back that. So yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Ben Lunt has been a real positive for St. Louis City in this stretch of games. I hope that we give Roman Berkey ample time to respond, rejuvenate from his injury and rehabilitate. Just get back to 101% for Roman Berkey, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be in safe hands regardless with either one of these guys. There is a couple major differences to their play. Like you said, Berkey's distribution is just superb, one of the best in the league.
No doubt.
So I think having Berkey in the lineup will help us break high presses a lot easier because, we won't just have to kick it over the top. We'll have someone who will be able to make dangerous passes, which sometimes can be very risky, but Berkey is the type to take risks and they usually pay off. He's not one to give the ball away.
Well, it's composed risk, right? Or
Yeah,
calculated
yeah,
risks, right?
calculated
Like
risk taking. He
we
knows when to clear it.
St. Louis City early on this season with Henry Kessler and Roman Berkey in the starting lineup, I think did invite higher pressure a little bit more. My mind goes to the San Diego FC game where they were very much high pressing us, not really letting us out, but we still had dangerous chances getting out and breaking the attack like that. So potentially the connection between Roman Berkey and Edu Lovin returning could be a real positive as far as connecting passes and just really connecting the team because St. Louis City were completely outplayed in the midfield by Seattle this weekend. I couldn't tell you anything memorable about the center of the midfield other than Edu Lovin coming into the game. And that's not the first time that I have been intense and harsh on our center mids because it's such a critical role in any team that it needs to be some of your best players. So yeah, I would love to see them back ASAP.
I'd also say have to say another big difference would be communication. I think it's very clear when Berkey is on the field how he's feeling because he's so loud and will constantly let the offense know that he needs them to score. Like, he needs
True.
them. So I think that will be kind of a wake-up call for a lot of our teammates when they have Roman Berkey yelling at you. It's a lot different than Ben, and that's no, diss at Ben. I think Ben is vocal when he needs to be, but he's a lot quieter compared to Berkey.
Well, right. And that's what you would expect from your backup goalkeeper compared to your captain. I think that the two occupy very, very different roles in the locker room. So I don't
Yeah.
blame Ben Lunt for focusing a little more on being a shot stopper. I just know that a lot of times goalkeepers will come under scrutiny, especially when results aren't going the team's way. And I think that at least me personally, I'm not blaming Ben Lunt for any of these
No, of
losses and
course not.
draws.
For my point this week, it's not really 1 point. It's like a bunch of little points, a bunch of little points. So if you collect them all, you can make one big point, and that point is we're bad. Um, so all
Put it
my little
mildly.
points, I want to grab the tiniest little positives to talk about because if anyone else is talking about St. Louis City right now, chances are it's negative and we look awful. So not
Rightfully
to
so.
discredit anyone else that is talking negative, they're being honest. I just want to talk about something different. And the only positives I've got from this week is one, Hartel scored again. That's nice. That's a positive. It is a
True.
penalty, but you got to put it in the back of the net either way, and he does it in style. I we now have three of our like major offensive players have scored in our past three games. Like I said, one by one, we're gonna get them scoring again. Positive signs. I would love it if all of them would like to score in a game. That'd be fun too. Scoring more than one goal in a match would be
All at once would be
crazy.
awesome.
Another positive, one player that I really want to give some flowers and a player that I think has been quietly very good is Giannis Horn. I think
Mhm.
this last game specifically, he was a breath of fresh air in defense. It allows Vollum to go up further. And even though he can play left center back and left wing back. I think he looks great in both positions. I'd love to see him play left wing back once we
Mhm.
have all of our center backs healthy and in form. I'd love to see him on the wing. That would free up Vollum to be other places on the pitch. And I mean, his distribution is so nice. His
Yeah.
assist last week was great. So I just want to give him his flowers. I think Horn is very, very good. And as a wingback, you don't really get a lot of praise unless you're scoring or getting assists. So, you know,
True.
I think he's good. 2-1. I think we got two good players back into the starting, not into the starting 11, onto the field this week. That
Yep.
would be Edu Leuven. It is so good to see him back. He's got a buzz cut, so this guy's going to be just tearing this league up. I'm
Yeah,
very
I think
excited
you
for
can
that.
expect to see a little bit of a more scrappy Edu Lovin. I love it. I love that he's back. I just hope that everything is good with him
Yeah.
and that he can focus on his job.
Yeah, that's the most important thing is that if he's ready to be back, then he will be fine. But, if it's too early, then we'll see it on the field. So I do think Leuven has a very strong mentality. And the fact that he is willing to take time away from the game to be with his family, I think that's super important. And you don't see that a lot. So um, I'm proud of him. You know, we didn't get to see too much of him in this match. It was a pretty quiet day for him, but the little moments we did see, he's so much quality, and I'm so excited to see him back in this team. So, um,
Also,
another player, Xande Silva, of course, we talked about him a little bit here. That's a new body that I think is going to bring a lot of positive play into this club. Um, so yeah, that's two positive players back into the club that we haven't seen in quite some time. And really, I've got one negative out of all of these negatives. There's only one really new negative, and that is Conrad Vallum had a really bad game. That's new. I would never say that Conrad Vallum has had a particularly bad game before this match. He always looks positive. Even in this game, I thought he looked positive at times. I think it's really just a frustration and like there's this one specific play that I think everybody saw and was probably yelled when it happened. But Conrad Vallum
mhm.
picks up the ball on the left wing, cuts inside, dribbles across the entire midfield, can't find anyone to release the ball to. So he eventually gets tackled after carrying the ball for, I don't know, probably like 20 seconds. But it's moments like that where it's like, do you blame him or do you blame the team for not getting open? And I thought, you can make an option, you can place the ball wherever you want, but you got to do something. And I think it's just indecisiveness. He's playing not his ideal position right now. And just whole St. Louis City is all out of whack right now. There's really not a lot of good chemistry forming at the moment.
Mm.
So I'm worried, but I'm not worried about Conrad Vallum. He is such a quality player and he'll bounce back from this. But
Grayson, what I think I'm seeing with Conrad Vollum, well, specifically in that moment, because of course I am not in the mind of Conrad Vollum. I haven't talked to him about it, not yet at least. But what I see is just a little bit of frustration from the player, right? And the reason I say that is because when you're playing on a team that is struggling a little bit and you know that you have the quality or at the very least the passion to try and make the kind of change on the field that you would like to see, you're going to try and do that. You're going to try and take on that responsibility and impact change as much as possible on the field. And I think that's what I saw from Conrad in that moment. A player very frustrated with how his team is performing, a player that realizes that he has the quality and talent to make things happen, and it hasn't exactly fallen that way for him so far. I think if you asked him, things might have been a little bit tough for him so far here in St. Louis. He hasn't really gotten off the mark as far as scoring. He has impressed with his performances and his intensity. However, it's not panning out for the team, which will, in my experience, hurt the mind of the player because
yeah,
even if he was having a lot of individual success, like scoring goals every game or getting assists, still the team isn't in a great situation. So I think he's just wearing that frustration. And I found it very surprising that St. Louis City fans were so critical of him after this game. I think that yes, he didn't play great. Okay, that's like at least nine other players on the field can
yeah.
wear that same kind of performance. So for me, I don't think we need to be super critical of Conrad Vollum. I would like to see better performances all over the field, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, any final talking points for this match?
Grayson, I didn't want to think about this game too much after it finished. And now that we are done talking about it, I could not be more excited. Should we get into Kit Clash, brother?
I think we should. Ding, 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 ding.
Ring that freaking bell.
We are back with another round of Kit Clash, and honestly, this could be a heater. This could be a heater. Guys, we are going to rate the Seattle away. Is this away? Is this third? I don't exactly know. Uh,
This is
I
their
think
third kit, right?
I think it's their third kit, but hold up. I want to know.
Either way, okay, I can tell you at least that it's the Salish Sea kit and that the reason it's called that is because of its connection to the Puget Sound in Seattle. Seattle does not really miss as far as branding and design and connecting with the city. That has pretty much always been their MO. And I think they've always been leaders in kits in the MLS. The Xbox 360 Seattle Sounders kits are probably the most iconic MLS jersey. I'm
Oh,
gonna I'm gonna drop that take. I'm gonna say that that's gonna be I'm gonna stake that claim that the Seattle Sounders jersey. If you think of an MLS jersey, it's probably the Seattle Sounders MLS or Xbox 360 jerseys.
that's wild.
Anyways, this kit that they dropped, the Sailor Sea kit this season, is a banger. In my opinion, Grayson, this is one of the best kits in the MLS, potentially one of the best kits in the world. I love how it ties into the connection to the city, and the Native American print on the jersey is unbelievable. It looks like fabric. I'm gonna stop glazing. It's a 9.5 for me, Grayson. This kit is amazing. I love it.
I agree. It's a stunner. I'd have to agree that like the meaning behind it is important. They have written in a Native American language, "Water is sacred" on the kit as well. I think that's super cool. Um, I love this kit overall. It was one of my favorites when I saw the kit release. Very unique. So cool. I love the color. I think it's like a teal green. Like Seattle's just doing it right. All
Yeah.
three of their kits are really nice this season. I think this is their third kit. Their their away kit is like red, which is really kind of
Hmm.
strange. But um, overall, it's a heater. I'm gonna give this kit a 9.5.
Damn. I mean, it's well deserved. This is one of the better kits in the MLS, if not
Yeah,
one of the best in the MLS this year.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's go ahead and chat about our midweek and weekend matchup because we've got two St. Louis City games to talk about. So, I guess real quickly, let's talk about Union Omaha. We've faced them before. I believe we put five past them, if I'm not mistaken, in season one.
Oh, you're asking a lot of me, Grayson. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it was
I know
season
we
one.
I know that we won and that we have a good head to head against the Union Omaha. However, I couldn't tell you our last result.
We don't have that much history to go over, period. So,
Actually, Grayson, power to you. You got that exactly right. Our record is 5-1 over them April 25th, 2023 in the Open Cup. So we are meeting them again.
that's
Grayson,
awesome.
I have to say that I have a little bit of personal stake in this game because if St. Louis City wins and Louisville City win, then St. Louis City is going to come play here in Louisville. And I am clamoring for that. Look, I'm looking up to the soccer gods wondering. All right. I'll put it like that.
I might have to I might have to come out for that one. I think we all might have to.
Look, brother.
Everyone, all St. Louis City fans are invited to sleep at Ethan's house in Louisville.
22,500. You're welcome to stay right here at the crib. As far as the game goes, Grayson, what I'm hoping to see is a little bit of tweaking from Olaf Melberg. I want to see him start players that have not really started so far this season, whether that means Makai Joyner, if that's Christian Oliveras, if it's a City 2 player like Michael Venzel, then I would love to see it. I think that this is the time we have, in my opinion, we should cakewalk this game. Okay, not to discredit Union Omaha. They are a
Mm.
good USLC. They're a good third division American team, and they're going to compete against St. Louis City. I do not doubt that one bit. I just think that this is a perfect opportunity for players like Hugh Lovin to regain some fitness, for Celio Pompeu to start the game. So that's what I'm hoping to see against San Diego, though, Grayson. Actually, what do you have to say about the Union Omaha game? What do you think about Union Omaha?
Uh, it's a tricky one because what you said, we could use this game to get our offense firing and our defense more reps, or we could use this moment to play our younger players. Mikai Joyner could get a lot of minutes here. We haven't seen Tyson Pierce at all.
About Emil Yaskalainen.
I would love to see Emil Jääskeläinen. He
Mm-hmm.
just got his goal for City 2 this weekend, so I would love to see him. That'd be awesome. But at the same time, I would really just love some goals. That's all I want. I would love a big score line. 5-1 would be fine, but I want that clean sheet, boys, so don't even think about it. Yeah, I want something positive from this because we are not getting something positive in the league.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm gonna
yeah.
I'm gonna quickly predict a 4-0 victory for St. Louis City in the midweek,
Okay.
which feels bold as hell. I just don't care though. I think that the ties are going to change for St. Louis City, and it's going to come somewhere. I think that a midweek game is kind of exactly what we need. We need more time on the field together. You had a great point earlier, Grayson, that our team chemistry has not looked super great this season, and so I believe that the Open Cup will be a great opportunity for St. Louis City to really gel, maybe find some enjoyment in their game again, because like you mentioned, we are not really getting anything positive from the league recently.
Yeah. There's a lot of moments where we just look like we're on different pages. So yeah, we just take this game as, I don't want to underestimate Union Omaha at all. I don't want to say take it as a training game, but take it as a moment to enjoy your football and just take it easy, enjoy yourself, play the game that you know how to play, and we'll work it out. As for San Diego FC this weekend, I have slightly different feelings. I
Yeah,
really don't see this game going well for us at all. Um, San Diego is a very good side. They've proven it. We earned a draw against them earlier this year.
that's right.
I think we are capable of earning a draw again, but I
Really?
don't think we're going to get a draw. I think we're going to lose this one kind of heftily. I'm not going to give it the 4-1 Seattle treatment. I think it's going to be 3-1, but I just have very little confidence in this St. Louis City team right now. I hate saying that. I think we're going to
It-
get a goal from Simon Becher.
It's the truth. It's the truth, Grayson. We are not
Yeah.
confident in this team whatsoever. Grayson, quick pop quiz. What position is FC Dallas in the table?
13th.
Ninth. That is, you correctly answered where St. Louis City is in the table,
Fuck.
toward the very bottom of the West, sitting in 13th, only above Houston and LA.
Houston.
We'll get into the San Diego FC thrashing of FC Dallas and on City Boys Extra Time. By the way, like and subscribe. Check that out if you want to get up to date on the MLS every week.
I think you do.
But San Diego FC are coming off the back of a damn near dominant victory. Not no near about it. A damn dominant victory, and I don't love that rolling into Energizer Park this Saturday. Okay,
Yeah.
the reason being, this is early on this season, this was an awesome matchup between a lightning attack and a very steady defense. And things have shifted. The attack of San Diego FC is lightning and thunder with Chucky Lozano healthy and Anders Dreyer looking great. And St. Louis City's defense is looking like a stone that has gotten banged up a little bit,
Yeah.
to put it mildly. Okay. Our defense was a strong point after conceding 4 goals. Either St. Louis City are going to be looking to return to that form, or it could be dangerous from here on out, Grayson, like you said. So I am going to predict a loss for St. Louis City on the weekend. I think that San Diego FC's attack will be too much for us to stop, especially after watching LAFC and now Seattle just demonstrate their individual quality. I think that we will see much of the same from San Diego FC. I'm going to go for 3-1. I don't think we'll get shut out, but I do think we'll concede a few times. I want to say Zhao Klaus scores. I genuinely, man, it feels like I might be I might be blowing smoke at this point. Like I don't know if there's any, but I don't know if there's any fire, man. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, man, I don't know how we're gonna do against San Diego FC.
St. Louis is such a weird team. We could win this game. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. I would love that. That would be a great surprise, St. Louis. That would be lovely.
Well,
Any
Grayson,
final notes? Yeah. Anything else? Yeah,
I,
I'm burnt. I gave you everything I got, St. Louis. Give me something, please. Please.
seriously, please. I'm just looking forward to a midweek game. I'm excited to go up for the Open Cup game on the weekend, in the middle of the week, and if the soccer gods feel favorably, then they will shine down on me and bring St. Louis City to Louisville City
Yeah.
to renew the Kings Cup, please. It's such a good rivalry.
Yeah. We'll be back. We'll be back. All right. Well, I think that is gonna call it. I'm gonna hit the intro because Jacob is gone. So y'all know what it is. Please like, subscribe, comment if you are watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Spotify, like it, leave it a 5-star review. Tell us how much you love us.
Or hate us. We can take it either way.
Any comment matters. We love it. I'll like it regardless. Uh, yeah, I think that is it. Last but not least, don't forget to tell your mother you love her. Peace.
Love you, Mom.
S
STL.
L S T L
STL.
T
STL.
L. Let's go.